If you're a storyteller, there's this one concept that you absolutely, positively have to get right. It's called plausibility. Honestly, it's the secret ingredient that makes an audience lean in and truly believe in your story. And today, we're going to break down exactly how it works. You know that feeling, right? You're sitting there totally hooked on a show, and then a character does something just so bizarre that you can't help but ask yourself this question. And just like that, you're pulled right out of the world. But the reason why our brains do that is way more interesting than you might think. So, to really get a handle on how plausibility works in fiction, we first got to look at how we use the word in our everyday lives. Think of this as the foundation for everything else we're about to dive into.
Okay, so in the real world, when we say something is plausible, what we really mean is that it fits. It fits within the backs of what we all kind of agree is rational and logical. It's a standard that's all based on reason and our shared understanding of how things work.
Yeah, you can just call it our common sense check. It's the lens we use for pretty much everything, from a news report to a story your friend tells you about their weekend. But when we decide to enter the world of fiction, something really fascinating happens. The rules totally change. And this, right here, is where things get so critical for us storytellers. When an audience sits down for a story they know is made up, they aren't using that same real-world rulebook. Nope, a completely different standard comes into play. Just look at the shift here. We're moving away from a world of reason and logic, which is a societal group thing, and we're jumping headfirst into a world where the standard is personal. It's based entirely on emotion and individual feeling.
This really says it all. We're no longer operating in the world of objective fact. We're in the world of subjective belief. The audience isn't fact-checking your story against reality. They're feeling it out. They're checking it against their own internal emotional compass. So this brings us to the big why, doesn't it? Why does this switch happen? Why do we just toss our logical, common-sense brains out the window the moment we sit down to watch a movie? Well, the answer is actually incredibly simple. It all hinges on the audience's starting point before the story even begins. Let's break this down. Because the audience has already agreed to the basic idea that, hey, this isn't real, their entire system for judging things changes. They've already suspended their disbelief in reality, so they can't use reality as their measuring stick anymore. So what do they use instead? They fall back on something way more fundamental, their own personal experiences and emotions. And that means the audience's internal question shifts. It's no longer, could this happen in the real world? It becomes, does this feel emotionally true for this character in this world? And that is the real test your story has to pass. Okay, so what does all this mean for you, the storyteller? How do you actually take this idea and apply it to what you're writing? Here's the deal. Your job isn't to create a story that's logically perfect by real-world standards. Your real job is to create a story that feels emotionally true. You can have dragons, wizards, and faster-than-light spaceships as long as the characters' reactions, their fear, their love, their jealousy, are grounded in emotions the audience recognizes and believes in. You've got to earn their emotional conviction. So you can stop asking yourself if every single little plot point perfectly lines up with the laws of physics or statistical probability. Seriously, that's the old way of thinking. This is the question that matters. Not is it logical, but is it believable? Does it feel true on a deep emotional, personal level to the person experiencing your creation? If you can master that, you will create a world your audience never wants to leave.